All right, welcome everybody to the Eastham Board of Health meeting, September 26, 2024. This meeting will be video recorded and broadcast over local access channel 8 and through the town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. All right, starting with opening statements, if we have any. Look over to Susan.
Yes, I have a couple. Reminder that we've scheduled our 3 annual COVID and flu clinics, one at the Orleans Eastham Elks on October 23rd from 1 to 4, the other at the Eastham Elementary School on November 12th from 2:30 to 5:30, and the other at the NAUSET High School on November 13th from 1 to 5:30. Though QR codes for online registration will be going out tomorrow. It'll be on our website and around town.
Are you going to do both? You can get both at the clinic?
6 months and up, flu and COVID, yep.
Great.
And we'll be doing our emergency management drill as part of the drive-through Elks clinic like we've done in the past. So if any of the board members would like to participate, that's a good opportunity for you guys to get out there as well if you'd like.
Okay, that's on the 23rd. Okay.
And we have successfully booked the room for the cesspool workshop as you asked on
Yay.
November 21st at 1:30 p.m. and then we'll go right into our regular meeting at 3 p.m.
Got it. Great.
I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No? Oh, I want to also note that Paige is, member of the Board of Health, is on Zoom. I don't see Clay, right? No. Okay. Oh, no. That's
I'm
Clay
here.
down there, right? There's Clay. I'm sorry, Clay, I didn't see you, but now I see
Okay.
your name. So we have 2 members of the Board of Health on participating via Zoom. Any other opening statements? Clay or Paige, any opening statements?
No, not at this time.
All right.
Not for me, thank you, Hope.
All right, thank you both. All right, I think we're going to start a little out of order. We're going to start with thanks to everybody for being patient with 95 Steel Road.
Good afternoon. For the record, I'm John O'Reilly. I'm covering this meeting for Bob Reedy, who is the engineer that did the design work. We're here tonight to seek your approval to utilize Advantex treatment technology. The property in question is improved with a 2-bedroom home now. The house is being replaced with a 2-bedroom single-family home, and it is considered an environmentally sensitive lot due to its size. And so we have proposed IA treatment. And just to address the nitrogen load, untreated current situation, we're just below 10 parts per million, and with the state and local requirements. So I'd be happy to answer any questions the board has.
Okay, so no variances for this one.
That's correct.
I do not have any questions. No questions? Nancy's going. Let me go. Clay, keep going. Clay or Paige, do you have any questions?
No.
Not for me, no ma'am.
Okay, give you a second. No? Good?
I'm good.
Okay. Go ahead.
So without any objections to this plan, I guess I'll make a motion. Move to recommend that the Board of Health approve the proposed plan as presented with the following conditions. No increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review. Any changes or modifications to the approved plans require Board of Health review. Basement level game room is not to be used as a bedroom. 2-bedroom deed restriction and use of IA technology using Vantex AX20-15 technology treatment to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Board of Health conditions to be noted on the deed. Well to be where did I go? Well to be discontinued as a source of drinking water for human consumption, irrigation use only. Secondary treatment and monitoring under general use approval conditions per DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times per year for seasonal use for total nitrogen BOD TSS, nitrate nitrogen not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Applicant to confirm if property will be utilized annually or seasonally prior to issuance of the septic installation permit. Operation and maintenance agreement to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and Barnstable County Health and Environment. Operation and maintenance contract required for the life of the system. Operator to report results to Barnstable County Health and Health and Environment database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Designer to verify proper operation of the system prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. Final inspections and startup inspections to be witnessed by the Eastham Health Department. Board of Health approval will be valid until September 26, 2025.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Clay?
Aye.
Thank
Aye.
you. All right. Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John, can I scan you a copy of the signed plan? I don't have an extra paper one for you for now. We can sign that for you?
Okay.
Thank you.
Now I'm going backwards.
Helpful.
Very cute solar panels on this roof.
Actually, have
You have a pen? Here, pass that way. Hang on, I'll do this one. Yeah.
I'm completely at 6s and 7s, sorry.
It's okay. All right, I think you got, you good? All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, thank you for your patience. Moving back to 15 Martha Avenue. Okay, hang on, we'll go to you next, absolutely, but thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. For the record, I'm Laura Schofield from Schofield Brothers, and I'm here representing Alan Chabot, who's the owner of 15 Martha Avenue. Mr. Chabot is renovating the existing 4-bedroom dwelling with no increase in the design flow. And there will be a new garage that will have a little bit of unheated storage area over the garage on the second floor. But the garage structure will not have any plumbing or heat. Right now, the existing house is served by a private well that will become an irrigation well, and the house will be connected to the municipal water system as part of the project. The original septic system from the 80s, there's a 1,000-gallon septic tank and a single leaching pit that will be upgraded to a Title V system having an IA, which in this case is an Advantex system. The property overlooks the bay, so it's environmentally sensitive, but the septic system is proposed entirely outside of the 100-foot setback to the top of the bank. And we're here today for the board's review because we're proposing IA technology, but also because we require a couple local upgrade approvals from Title V and also variances from the Eastham Board of Health rules and regulations, because our soil absorption system does fall within the setback for 2 of the neighbors' private water supply wells. So we are able to provide a 94-foot setback from the well at 5 Martha Ave to the new soil absorption system. and we're providing a 95-foot setback between the soil absorption system and the private wells serving 30 Martha Ave. Across the street, there's another irrigation well at the moment, but the setback to that well falls within the road layout, so we're well outside of that setback. So we're providing an IA here, so the treatment to the wastewater is significant. The wells that we're talking about are either up gradient of the groundwater flow as it makes its way towards the bay, or parallel to each other in that groundwater flow. So our feeling is that although we're asking for a small amount of relief from these neighboring wells, we're simply upgrading what is there with a significant improvement in the treatment to the wastewater. And we are connecting one more house to the municipal water system that should make life easier for people in the neighborhood when it's time to upgrade their system. So I think that's it, and I'm happy to answer any questions that the board has.
Okay, thank you. I think before we go to questions, I know there's a butters here, so we'll ask for your input. I'm going to have to ask if you come to this table because of our camera situation, and please just state your names for the record, and because this is being recorded.
I'm Christine Athorn. My husband James and I own 5 Martha Avenue. We have no objection to the proposed improvements to the house itself. Our concern is the impact to our property located at 5 Martha Avenue, because the relocation and the upgrade of the septic system will put us within the 94 feet of the new septic system. The properties at 5, 15, and 25 Martha Avenue were all built in around 1980, and all the plot plans were designed so that our wells and our septics were all within the regulation at that time. At our house, we've complied with the town regulations. We do short-term rentals, okay? So we've complied with the obligation to submit our water tests every year to the health department, and they've all come back fine. There hasn't been any issues. If the septic system is moved and enlarged based on what Laura has just explained, will be less than 100 feet from the well. Our question is, in future years, if our well becomes tainted because of this new layout of the well, or the septic, I'm sorry, who's responsible? Do we have any recourse? Is one of our questions, okay? Our well functions fine. We have no desire to hook up to town water, okay? Because of this notification, we solicited 2 quotes from local contractors, and the quotes were within, $100 of each other. There was no big deal in the difference, but it was a lot more than we expected the cost to be.
2 quotes for what? I'm sorry.
For to hook up to water.
Oh, the hookup
to
for the
town-
water. I'm
town
sorry.
water.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay. No. Thank you.
And as short-term rental owners, we respect our full-time neighbors. We follow all the regulations. We typically rent to just multi-generational families, not singles or anything like that, so we don't disrupt the neighborhood whatsoever. Our certificate says we only can have 6 people at our house for occupancy now. And so what we do is we rent just the peak weeks. We do June and July. Usually, we use the house in August. Much of our rental income that we get goes directly to our taxes, because our taxes are huge because we're waterfront, and the bill's coming. They pay the taxes, and then we use a number of local contractors and maintenance people to support us during the summer, okay? Our renters pay the 14.45% short-term tax, and I file it with the state, and we pay the state, so Eastham gets their portion of that money from our property. Again, we have no problem with the improvements at 15 Martha Avenue, as long as it doesn't adversely affect our property, our well. And we don't want to do the expenditure to hook up to town water at this point, because we're retired, we don't have the income. It's not like, you know, we just bought this house, we've been there for 45 years, over 45 years, okay? So that's really my position, our position. I want to thank you for letting me speak today. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, thank you. Are there any other abutters?
Well, should we do one at a time?
Well, let's see if there's more. We can get all the questions down, maybe? I don't know if there are. Are there other abutters here for this property or on Zoom? No. Okay, so we're good. I just want to make sure that we got all the concerns on the table at once. So I understand your concern. The one thing I wrote down is what is the future recourse should something happen, and I don't know that answer.
Recourse is they can connect to town water.
Right, but if you
There
don't
is
want
that
to,
additional resource.
yeah. So I guess that's, you know, what else could one do? But I guess just to start off, just to ask, is there any way to cite this? I mean, the maximum feasible compliance guideline that we kind of hold ourselves to cite this so that you don't need to request this variance?
No.
Okay.
No. And partly, the reason why we can't comply now when everyone could comply before is because you have to, you look at the footprint of how big the leaching area has to be now compared to back in the day when you could put it into one leaching pit that didn't take up a lot of
Yeah.
footprint on the lot. So that's the difference. One good thing about these systems, the IA systems, they are required to be inspected and maintained, and they have to report back to the town. So if at any point the system's not working, the town and the property owner will know about it. And you can, I like my little colored plans, these are the two well setbacks, so we kind of tried to set split the difference between them so that someone wasn't shouldering the burden of the variance more than the other abutter. And there's also another well setback right here that we were trying to avoid as well.
Okay, I'm sorry. Nancy, did you?
No, so, I'm sorry, so the setback from their well is 95 feet? So, and that was a variance of...
94 feet.
So that was a 6-foot variance?
Yes.
And to the other well was also
5-foot variance.
a 5-foot variance?
They're at 5, Martha.
They're at 30, Martha.
I mean,
They said 5.
These are 5.
They're 5,
5,
Martha.
the
You're
8 ones
5.
are at 5, Martha.
So is the lot less than 200 feet wide? Is that what the problem is?
Yeah, it's only
100 feet wide and 190 feet long.
Yeah. So,
I have a question.
yes,
So just to clarify, so the new IA system will function better than the previous system, correct?
Correct.
And so they're really at this point, what you're asking for is a difference of 6 feet, that it would be closer to the well at 5 Martha. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Which doesn't seem to be a great amount of space, but given that the system will be functioning more efficiently, that might be able to set that off. Does that make sense?
I think so. I think in terms of variances, this is a pretty minor request, and I certainly can't guarantee anything, but I wouldn't expect this system to adversely affect the wells that we're asking the variances to. And even though the system's a little bit more spread out, I didn't do the math, but I'm guessing the bottom of our system is probably a greater depth above groundwater than the leaching pit that we're replacing too, so that's another added benefit.
I mean, I just think, I don't know, it seems that this is what we are hoping many people in the town do when they do upgrade their property is to upgrade their septic system, because as we all know, we don't have, sewering, so we're reliant on every individual homeowner to run their own sewer. And, this has been, it's a big expense to put this in, and it's much, it's really much more efficient, and it denitrifies much more efficiently. So I think in some way, everybody should be happy for the upgrade. It's, go ahead. Huh?
So my comments here are that these are two avoidable variances that Laura is asking for right now, because town water is available on Martha Ave. Laura has done her due diligence by creating this plan to the best of her ability, and these variances are avoidable. I understand property owners do not want to connect to town water. It's not mandated in this section of town. I understand. I believe there is a program to help pay for the water connection. I'm not positive on that. I will look into it. That's my comment.
Thank you, yeah. And, well, I think it's,
I'm sorry, one more question. Laura, is the upgrade because the existing system has failed, or is there work going on at the house?
Well, he's renovating the house.
Okay,
There's
so
no
it's triggered by
change.
that.
Right.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I understand you obviously want your water to be safe, and we all do. This is relatively speaking a small variance, and as Paige and Francie pointed out, it's a better system. So for the neighborhood, for the coastal bank, for all of us, it's the system that we believe will better protect our environment. Come back up. I'm sorry, it's more just because this is all being Zoomed and recorded, so thank you.
Okay, so my understanding, actually Laura has told me this, that because it's a seasonal house, the system's going to be inspected twice a year.
No matter what, I'm not sure how the
Either
house-
4 or 2 times a year.
It's 4
It will be
initially.
sampled for the effluent 2 times a year, 1 time a year inspection by the operator, yeah.
And
So the treated effluent of the treatment system will be tested twice a year based on the use of the property.
so is it the same type of test that I have when I have my septic pump now? And they come in and they pump it, and then they
They
use
don't
the little
test
stuff?
your septic pumpage when
They don't, the
it goes to a
sewage, they
treatment
don't.
facility and gets dumped. It doesn't
Yeah,
get tested.
it doesn't get tested. So this gets tested?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
This-
And is that report available to us?
If you so
Yeah,
request it, yep.
yeah.
I would think that because we're abutters, we should be getting copies of the
You
reports.
can request them if you would like.
I'm also
then-
wondering if they could do the sampling before the summer season, so that way,
So in these seasonal systems, we do request that they're sampled in May and September so that we have a good idea of the system is not in use or hasn't been in use all that much come May, and then we get a baseline, and then we've gotten good treatment and good sampling data for September. That's why we do it that way.
So I have my water tested usually in.
That's
in
drinking
Feb-
water, this is wastewater
Yeah,
sampling.
well, but I have my well tested usually in February, all right? And then if you test the septic, which won't probably be used that much in May, then my water test for this year is okay.
It's also flowing in a different direction
Yeah,
than the groundwater is flowing away from your well, not towards your well, from this septic
It
system.
should be going this way,
yeah, it's going towards the water.
right?
Yeah. And the other thing that is in my mind, Crest Avenue runs here, and Laura knows this because she's familiar with the neighborhood. I mean, there's like, what, 20, 30 feet of Crest Avenue that's on the bank.
And
So
actually,
we're not
Chris-
really close to the coastal water.
Well, it's all flowing in that direction. And Chris, when they inspect this, they'll make sure that that all the parts are operating properly, but this has a permit for the effluent parameters. So it's like the strength of the wastewater and the amount of nitrogen has it before it goes into the ground. So those are the things that they'll be testing too, that it's working and that it's cleaning up the effluent before it goes into the ground.
Okay.
And that will be monitored for the life of the system.
Okay, all right. And, well,
Then they have to address it and they have to make it work. They can tweak it, they can adjust the pumps, they can add things if they need to. But they're pretty good at this point at making them work.
function more efficiently.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am actually comfortable with moving forward with all of this discussion and making sure that information flows as requested and that, you know, given that it's a relative to what we encounter, small variance, and it's really an improved system, which is better for the environment, so.
I second.
Well, I didn't look at yet. All right, hang on. All right, so I would like to, let me be, Clay and Paige, before I make a motion, any comments?
No.
No.
Okay. All right, in that case, I would recommend the following, approval with the following conditions. No increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review and abutter notification. The space above the garage is to remain unfinished and unheated, and any proposed changes to the floor plans will require Board of Health review. 4-bedroom deed restriction and use of IA technology using Advanced AX20 treatment unit to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Board of Health conditions to be noted on the deed. Well will be discontinued as a source of drinking water for human consumption and will have irrigation use only. Secondary treatment and monitoring under general use approval conditions per DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times a year for seasonal use for total nitrogen BOD TSS. Nitrogen not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Applicant to confirm if property will be utilized annually or seasonally prior to the issuance of the septic installation permit. Operation and maintenance agreement to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and Barnstable County Health and Environment Operation and Maintenance contract required for the life of the system. Operator to report results to Barnstable County Health and Environment Database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Designer to verify proper operation of the system prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. Final inspections and startup inspections to be witnessed by the Eastham Health Department. The Board of Health approval is valid until September 26, 2025. Second, right? All in favor?
I
All right, we passed. Yes, thank you. Thank you both for coming.
Laura, I'll scan it and get it over to you.
Okay.
Unless you want him to sign your little board with that. You want him to sign your board, Matt?
Right. Well, that's why it also has to be AI.
You can sign this one too, Elena, for
Oh,
Laura.
oh,
Send you
oh,
Hey, it doesn't make it.
Open Francie to sign these, please.
Um,
It's right here. This is Laura's.
Whoops.
It's not easy writing on a board.
this is your pen. That is my pen. That's okay. It's a game pen.
Hold on just one second. And then there's the bottom one too. There's another one, Francie.
Whose pen do I have? Yeah. Whose
Whose is that?
I don't know.
That's mine.
Okay.
Thank you. Hold on just a
Musical
second.
pens here.
Hi, Laura.
Bye, Laura.
What's up? Pre-existing non-conforming. Must be single family. I know, it's pre-existing non-conforming, you can't take a bedroom away.
I have the same, so I can't say any words. Some water. I don't know where there is any water, but.
We have some water,
I have
there's
some.
a bubbler upstairs.
Oh.
What? I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm okay.
Okay. Okay, in that case, we're going to move to 75 Turn Lane.
Derek and Betty Jo VAUTRINOT from 490 Hay Road, for the record.
Okay?
And I wasn't quite able to get my septic system at 75 Turn Lane installed in time, and it expired like a bad thing of milk. But I'm here to redouble my efforts and want to put in an IA system and make you guys happy. So I'm here to try to get a continuance or a reevaluation or extension of time.
Got it. So, and is there anything else that changed? Because I think we had one question on 75 Turn Lane, and I think the question had to do with the kitchen? Kitchen? Am I remembering
Oh,
that
yeah.
right?
Derek.
Kitchen above the garage, or, yeah.
Yeah, just had a question about, is that an ADU, Derek, over there?
I think it was approved before ADU was
Or
common term.
2019?
But it's a
I thought so. Okay.
apartment.
Okay, just wondered.
Oh, that's what it is.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where's that plan?
All right. So this is just a straight extension for one more year? Is that what you would like?
Sure, sure.
So, any questions? I'll start on Paige or Clay.
No.
Not for me, no.
No? No?
So
Susan,
then
anything to
condition
add?
number
Yeah.
7 doesn't apply, just so you know.
Yeah. So,
I'm sorry, because I'm so unprepared, could you just run what is
an extension, they ran out of time.
for doing what?
Putting the system in. Oops.
So the system
That's
that's
okay.
proposed is a IA technology on a 19,000, it's not the right one.
No?
A 3-bedroom system using IA technology on a 21,000 square foot lot-ish for 3 bedrooms. Their approval went through December 29th, 2022. It's lapsed, and they're just asking for another extension.
Yeah.
Okay.
Standard.
So there's a bedroom, 1 bedroom that's in the apartment, and 2 bedrooms.
2 in the house.
In the house. Okay. Thank you for explaining. So I don't have,
Go for it.
okay, so I will,
Not number 7.
I'll make a motion that the board approve the proposed, your plan for an extension of time to put in your septic system. Are these conditions to be
Except 7, she said.
Yeah.
I would just read them off again. They're the same ones,
They're the
give or
same that
take,
we
what
already
were done in
have.
2022.
But then it's just for the
Condition number
record.
7 doesn't apply because we just confirmed the ADU status.
Okay, so no increase in habitable or acceptable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review. Any changes or modifications to the approved plans require Board of Health review. 3-bedroom deed restriction and use of IA technology using Advantix AX20 technology treatment to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Board of Health conditions to be noted on the deed. Secondary treatment and monitoring under general use approval conditions per DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times per year for seasonal use for total nitrogen BOD TSS, nitrate nitrogen not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Applicant to confirm if property will be utilized annually or seasonally prior to issuance of septic installation permit. Operation and maintenance agreement to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and Barnstable County Health and Environment. Operation and maintenance contract required for the life of the system. Operator to report results to Barnstable County Health and Environment database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Designer to verify proper operation of the system prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. Final inspections and startup inspections to be witnessed by the Eastham Health Department. And the Board of Health approval now will be valid until September 26, 2025.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
Aye.
you. All in favor? We're good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Good luck. This year.
Really.
Get to work.
Thanks. Do we sign anything? No, we're good.
Nothing to sign?
Okay, moving on to Campground Road, 735C Campground Road.
Hi,
Hi, if you just introduce
Charles
yourself for the
COCCE
record
and
and all.
Paula.
Paula Koshy.
Thank you.
Where to begin? I'll cut the early part short in that we, 3 years ago, started a process of evaluating renovations on our property that led to us, determined by several contractors, to have to rebuild. And with that, we came up with a design, which by the time we were able to submit the design, the town had passed amendments minimizing how much footage we could add to our property. So we had came up with 2 more designs and eventually down from 2,000 square feet roughly to a 1,234 square foot property. So by the time we were able to submit that, the amendment had been passed to, if we were going to rebuild the property, we would need to install an IA system. So we went out and got a design for that. I'm not really knowing what the cost is going to be, but assuming it would be, I don't know, more than what a typical system would be to put in, which we had done several years earlier at a different property, but found out later on that the cost was much, much higher. The first estimate we received was about $225,000 because it services five properties.
11 bedrooms.
And 11 bedrooms at 735 Campground Road. So there are 5 dwellings, short-term rental properties there, 2 of which we own. So we have a situation, and I have asked of a lot of information from Susan and Sam, and they've been great providing that to us, but we still have a situation with our other condo owners. Understandably, we can't require them, nor should we have to require them to pay for this system, and we can't afford it. We have a perfectly functioning system, which has been voiced by numerous people to us, including the other condo owners, that it's built in 2000, perfectly functioning system, gets inspected on a regular basis, gets pumped on a regular basis, and we're wondering if there's a way to work around having to install an IA system. Simple as that.
Okay. Thank you. So we, just to go backwards a little bit, we approved the IA system for, as I recall, 3 reasons. Well, it was the trigger for review of the health department. All of this was the new construction. You're in an environmentally sensitive area. It's a small lot size. There's proximity to a coastal bank, so there are a few reasons why the IA system was triggered, and that's what we approved of.
Well, that's what was presented to you and approved.
That was presented to us in
Correct.
July, I think, and we approved of that.
Right.
So to me, nothing has changed since then, really. So we have, in terms of our purview under Title V, nothing has changed. So unless you went back, changed something, and came back and had a new proposal for us to look at, there's nothing that we can do within the scope of our regulatory responsibilities differently.
Yeah.
So, so in terms of your question about is there a way to work around it, I think the answer is no. What we were presented by the engineer and what we approved of was what was happened. So unless new information comes forth and a new proposal comes forth, there's nothing for us, honestly, to act on, if that makes sense. So that's my understanding of where we all sit today.
Can I just ask, I'm sorry, so what, are you saying that you're now not going to rebuild your cottage?
At that cost for an IA system, no.
So you're just going to leave everything the way it is?
Well, we don't have an option.
Well, I'm just saying, this was a yes or no thing. So you're not going to, because you were going to demo and rebuild,
Correct.
and now you're not going to?
Yeah, it's gonna fall into disrepair. It's got a leaky roof, it's got uneven
Well, I mean,
floors,
that
steep
demo
stairs.
and rebuilding isn't that the same as, maintaining your property, but
Well,
that's not,
Well, but that's not, almost not
the
here
issue.
nor
That's
there.
not our issue.
No,
Yeah, that's not our issue.
fair to answer the
Yeah.
question, though. I think the question there is, how much money do you put into a property to repair it and continue to repair it? We've repaired that roof 3 times already, almost every other year for the past 5 years. The entire roof needs to be replaced. The rafters are rotting. Previous owners apparently maybe hadn't cared for it and replaced it when it should have been replaced. So we have a bigger problem there, and that's probably going to trigger a new IA system, I assume. I don't know whether it's a roof that triggers it. I'm unclear as to what does trigger it, but, there's enough things. We have steep stairs, and people have fallen down the stairs, and it is a short-term rental. We've had people that won't return, people that fortunately haven't filed a suit against us because they've fallen down the stairs. Maybe if they were hurt worse, they would have. So those are all concerns. And the cost to, you have to do too much work to change a stairway that's like this, to make it like this. You have to expand. There's no way about it. And that's just, anything we do there is going to trigger an IA system, just about anything, I think.
Just to clarify, it's a septic system that works for all 5 properties. So if one person in that condo association wants to change their cottage or needs to work on their cottage and it triggers the system, all 5 property owners are responsible to replace it.
Right, I
That's
remember,
correct.
that's right.
That's in your condo docs now.
That,
Correct,
That's
but
not,
this,
this approval
yeah,
didn't
but
change
that has nothing to do with Title V.
I think we're asking for a reconsideration of this because of the unique circumstances of having to ask other owners who are not doing work on their properties to also pay for a system like this.
I sympathize, I understand, but I don't think that's in our purview, is the honest answer to that. As Susan just said, in your association documents, there sometimes is an agreement that shared responsibilities are shared payments, but that's, again, not the Board of Health. We acted on a plan presented to us, but to go back and say, well, you undo that, I think you need, I don't know how you do that. If they say, we're not gonna do anything, so we're gonna,
They're not gonna do the
Then
demo
nothing-
and rebuild.
then nothing happens.
The system that is there now
then
is
nothing
functioning.
happens.
If
Right.
nothing happens,
Then nothing
the
happens.
approval is only valid for 1 year anyway.
Right,
Right.
so you have an
So-
approval that becomes almost meaningless,
Yeah,
right?
it's void.
So that seems to be the alternative, if you make the choice to do nothing, because that's what reality is. That's fine, but it doesn't require action on our part.
Just to clarify, as far as the condo docs go, we agree on, and I know it doesn't affect your decision, but we agree on the maintenance of, that we all share the cost of the maintenance, but not necessarily the replacement that's triggered by one person's doing.
So what about when, not if, but when this system fails?
Yes.
All of you will be responsible for it,
Right,
right?
at that time, we would be, and we have submitted, and you've probably seen the letters signed by 4 out of the 5 condos, that, one just didn't respond on it, but that we would, and we have a majority vote that in the event that the system fails, we would either bring it up to standards by repair, or we'd bring it up to standards by installing an IA system. So I guess we came here to ask,
That cost is only going to get more
Oh.
expensive. You all realize that, right?
preaching to the
Understand
choir.
Like, it's,
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I
Yeah,
really don't.
well, you know, we've got a couple people retired, and they're living on, as the folks previous to us, living on a fixed income, and they don't want to install water. Our folks don't want to spend $40,000 or $50,000 each on a septic system. That
Understood.
just isn't in their plans. So it's unique. We have a condo situation. I don't think this has come up since, this is probably the first situation since,
Yeah.
but anyway, I guess we came here to propose, can we, and I don't know how to go about doing this, maybe we have to withdraw our building application, but, you know, and start the process over and go through a whole new hearing, and that's fine if that's what we have to do, because it's a long road, but it might be the short road. Could we just have annual inspections, and in the event of failure, either have it upgraded to an IA or repaired to your standards?
I just think that the problem that we're trying to mitigate is the nutrients flowing into the bay, right? That's the million-dollar problem that we're all faced with.
Right.
And so we could inspect the system to see how it's functioning, sure, but that's not gonna give us any insight into the amount of nutrients coming out of that system. And we know this is a particularly environmentally sensitive lot.
Mhm.
And so anything we can do on this lot to mitigate the nitrogen and the nutrients flowing into the wetlands and the waterways is of benefit to our community, to our residents, to our resources, and to you.
Right.
And this is why when I think I spoke with you the first time, I said, is there a way to just put the treatment on your unit?
Yeah.
Can you-
No, it's, we checked with the engineer, JCLS, on that.
We also have to remember that we were told that it wasn't a nitrogen, it was not a nitrogen-sensitive area. There's no
It's
lawn.
automatically triggered as a nitrogen-sensitive area because you do not meet the 10,000 square feet of lot size per sleeping room. You are way over capacity with the 11 bedrooms on 30,000 square feet. So right there is your trigger.
Is there a way to find out what the flow of nitrogen is coming out of that system?
At this, on these systems, yes,
On the
that's what the
IA
whole
system.
point is.
On the IA, yeah.
Yeah, on the IA there is.
But the current systems, they don't
So
have a way
I
to measure
believe
that?
what I'm hearing from Mr. and Mrs. Cochi is that they would like to request a variance to the local regulation.
Yes.
Then there's a process by which to do that. I
Okay.
would recommend contacting an engineer to go about doing that process for you,
Okay,
as they are more familiar with how to file a variance.
okay, all right,
And then you'll be back before the board
right,
Right.
to
Okay.
either approve or deny the variance.
okay, all right, great. Well, we'll go that route and see where that goes, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, is there, by the way, is there anybody, I don't know who's on Zoom, that
Yeah.
wanted to make a comment? I apologize.
I have a
Joe,
question. Okay.
Yep.
I have two questions. So would it be possible, I mean, somebody made the point that eventually this system is going to need to be replaced, the whole thing, and it's only going to continue to get more expensive. Has the condo association looked into obtaining some financing that they could cooperatively pay off this system over time instead of having each person pay up front for it? Is that something that you've explored at all? That might be an
So,
option?
we did look into that, Mr. Cochi, right? We looked into the Aqua Fund. They do not qualify because they're seasonal properties. The Aqua
Okay.
Fund is for year-round residences.
Okay.
And we also have to remember that some of the other condo owners are 75 years old or older, and they don't want to take on a loan like that at this point in their lives.
Now, what is the condition of their units? I know that you said yours needs considerable repair. Are theirs in the same condition, or were
No.
they built at a different time?
They've all been renovated extensively, and they're all in great shape except for this one. The gentleman that we bought it from wasn't he didn't do a lot of work, we'll just say.
And how long have you owned the property?
12 years now, I think. So we've done quite a bit of work on it. We've put all new siding on. We had raccoons that were boring through the side of the house into the attic. We've renovated the kitchen and so forth. We've replaced most of the windows. We've put a lot of money into the house, but the question is, how much more do you keep pouring in and still have the same house? It's just, I know you all understand that.
Yeah.
So this, I'm Rick Grandoni, I'm owner of 735B, one of the units. Can I clarify the fact that if somebody needs a new roof because their roof is leaking, the town says they have to put in an IA system?
No, that's not
place
true.
the-
No.
But that wasn't the project that was proposed here.
I know.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm just, now what the coaches' options would be at this point? And is there a list of things that say this triggers it, this doesn't? Because
Most
they,
especially, the trigger is the increase in square footage that they're proposing with this. And automatically, right off the bat, is the size of the lot with the number of bedrooms that are existing is triggered under our local regulations.
so if you had
And new
to,
construction, because they're proposing tearing down and rebuilding. Tearing
Right.
down, rebuilding, increase in occupiable space, habitable space, sorry, and the square footage of the lot with the number of bedrooms far exceeding the 10,000 square feet per bedroom.
so can they assume that they could do all the necessary renovations they need because the house is old? They could do those without triggering an IA system?
It's case by case
Yes or
and
no?
permit review. I'm
But-
not gonna say what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
They just want to fix things that are rotted and leaking,
Right.
and without changing anything about the rest of the house.
Well, I can say that that was never what was presented to the health
I know,
department
I
in
know,
any
I understand
capacity.
that.
What was presented for review to the health department was a tear down and rebuild and an increase in space.
Right, but I'm just saying, what you can see how the coaches are in a tough situation because they have to rent it, they have to do some repairs on their house, but
Yeah.
if it triggers an IA system, what are they
Right.
supposed to do? I don't know. I mean,
Right, but that's two very different situations. Repairs and knock down and rebuild with additional space are two very, very different scenarios.
right, okay.
We brought this up earlier. I mean, I asked them about, couldn't you just, are you proposing to just repair the structure as it is? But the answer we got was not, it was equivocal because there was this kind of feeling that they didn't want to put that kind of money into repairing a structure and not get anything bigger out of it. So, it's,
Okay.
that's kind of where we're at.
The rumor is, though, that, and maybe it's just a rumor, is that no matter what you want to do to your house, it triggers an IA system.
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
no,
Fairly-
that's a rumor. Keep it as a
It's a
rumor.
rumor, that's what a rumor is.
But as Susan said earlier, I mean, the other thing is to go back with your engineer or whomever and kind of rethink your options with all this information in hand, and then come back to the board with a refined proposal. And you and Susan and Hillary and the engineer all understand the challenges, so hopefully you'll come up with a workable solution.
I think as far as renovations go, I think one of the, probably two major reasons that we have to rebuild this house is the stairway. And we also were trying to add a second floor bathroom. The 2 bedrooms are on the second floor, so it's,
Yeah.
you have to come downstairs every time you need to use the bathroom. So those two alone would cause the design of the house to change, and it would be hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. Taking apart the middle of the house and then having to bump it out on the side, and any of those things I think would, I'm guessing would trigger.
Yeah, and I, not knowing the house nor being, not being an engineer, I have no idea.
It's only 177 square feet larger than what we had, and we're basically expanding one
Yeah.
side, and that's where the bathroom's gonna be. But I think anything that we had to do with the stairway affects the kitchen, the room above it, all of that, as well as the roof. It just becomes a major renovation that way. So-
We were also told that any additional square footage would trigger a system.
Oh.
Any additional.
That's in the regulation.
Yes, that-
Increase in habitable.
So that makes it really difficult.
Right.
My name is Joe Magadino. I'm the owner of 735D Campground Road. And I wanted to ask, is there a document that explains everything that would trigger the AI system?
Yes.
Yeah,
The Board of Health regulations, they're linked on the Eastham Health Department's website, and they pretty thoroughly go through everything that would trigger the installation of an IA system.
So that it mentions everything that would trigger it, like if you
Yeah.
change, like if you were to repair your roof or change your roof, that would not be on that list?
So it doesn't specifically outline the things that wouldn't trigger it. It outlines the things that do trigger it. So we wouldn't be able to speak to any specific circumstance of these things unless we had something to go on.
And where can that be found? That's on the Board of Health website?
Yeah, the Eastham Town website, if you go to the Town of Eastham's website and then you go under the Health Department page,
Right.
it's linked there.
yeah, you can find it, so it's Title V, it'll tell you exactly where the triggers are. So, okay, so we have to move on,
I had one more comment if I
Okay,
could.
one more
and
comment.
I think it's important. I believe Hillary has spoken with Tim DeLude, who has that sledgehammer modification system. So this is a system that is new to Eastern Mass, or Southeastern Mass, and it's been used in many other states, and apparently it's been highly effective in filtering nitrogen, and it's a fraction of the cost of an IA system. So I don't know where that stands with Hillary right now, but I'll let her comment on that. And Tim is on the line
Yeah, that's
right now.
fine, and I'm a rule follower, and anybody that knows me can vouch for that. And certain systems are approved for certain purposes and reasons in the Commonwealth. This system is approved at the moment to mitigate a failed leach field. And that's not the situation that we're faced with, and so when they presented this to me, I'm still sitting on it, but I don't have the legal authority to allow it under our regulations for nitrogen reduction when the system hasn't been demonstrated in the Commonwealth with any approval for that. And the data that I've been shown is for commercial properties off Cape. So I don't have a level of comfort, despite the fact that other people may. I'm just not comfortable with it yet.
okay.
And it's piloting approval still, right?
So I guess our suggestion is to kind of let things stand. The approval sits there for a year. Doesn't require anything, it's just an approval. But to perhaps go back and think all of this through with all of this information. Look at Title V on the website, so you know exactly what's going to trigger what, where, that it's pretty clear. And then, come back to us with a new proposal, and hopefully it will work for everybody.
Okay, and just a quick follow-up, Hillary, and I'm not trying to pin you down. Is there any sense you can give us as to how long a process like that might take for
So,
Massachusetts to approve that?
I can tell you, decades. When I was working in Wellfleet, we were looking at two systems that we called enhanced IA systems. they needed 50 of each system in the ground to move it from piloting to general or provisional use. And so if Tim is on the line or Dave Bennett, they can let us know how many systems are in the ground for nitrogen removal purposes, but I don't think you're anywhere near 50.
Right, and are those combination of commercial and residential? There are no residential, right? It's all
So
commercial, or?
the sizing of the systems would be different for commercial versus residential, so I'm assuming if they were going to pilot something, they would be piloting two different projects, because they may have a AX20 unit and an AX25 unit, or different size units. And
Okay.
so they have to pilot all of them and demonstrate well enough to the state that it's meeting these criteria.
Okay,
So it's a very lengthy process, years.
okay. And we wouldn't be a candidate for a pilot?
I don't even know if they have it in the pilot stage at the state level for nutrient reduction.
Okay.
So-
And your leaching facility is not in failure.
Right.
This system is designed to put a Band-Aid on a failed leaching field.
Oh, okay.
And you have told all of us many times,
Perfectly
the system
functioning.
is working just fine.
That is, yeah.
So
Okay,
it's not gonna work for you.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't.
Maybe
know that.
several years down the line, the sledgehammer might be an option, but, unless I'm told otherwise, our hands are tied.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much for your time. I won't take any more.
Someone else want to speak?
I have just one quick question. Do you guys feel as a board that the IA system is the new gold standard that will take us into the future with this? I mean, it's $250,000 to spend, and we're not going to get 2 years down the road and they say, oh, gee, now it doesn't really pass the new regulation.
I sort of feel like that's a slightly inappropriate question at this moment when we're sitting here with an applicant in front of us with a specific problem. I don't feel like we should get into a discussion that could take hours to start and finish. We know we have problems on Cape Cod. We know nutrients are the source of the problem. We know what solutions are, and all of the solutions are very costly. And we didn't get here overnight. This problem has been plaguing Cape Cod for years and years and years, but it's exacerbated to the point where we need to act right now. And so the action is very, very expensive for everyone involved, and we're all going to suffer from it, and we're all going to thrive from it. So it's really, I don't know. I don't think we should go down that road with a discussion on what the exact right solution is right now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's what it is.
All right, moving on to 85 Bangs Road.
Good afternoon. Stephanie Sequin with Ryder and Wilcox, representing Mark AHERN, who's the owner of the property at 85 Bangs Road. And this is just a request for approval of revised building plans. Back in December of last year, we came before the board and got approval for construction of a three-bedroom house on a 29,000 square foot lot with the inclusion of a microfast system. This is a vacant lot currently, so this would be totally new construction. Since the approval, Mr. AHERN has come up with, well, let me back up a little bit. The approved plan, the floor plans showed a main house with 2 bedrooms, a detached structure that had a 3rd bedroom, and then there was also a detached garage. And all 3 of these buildings were going to be built on slabs, no crawl space or basement underneath it. So that was what the approved plan was, the 3 bedrooms in multiple buildings. The new plan shows just a single building with a full basement and 2 bedrooms on the first floor, and then the 3rd bedroom in a finished space in the basement. And they are showing egress windows in that room. So it's still the 3 bedrooms, staying 3 bedrooms, just a different floor plan, different building. There is an increase in habitable square footage. The original plans showed a total of 2,133 square feet of habitable floor space, and we are now at 3,358 square feet of habitable floor space. Otherwise, no change to the septic design. There were no variances necessary for this design. It's not an environmentally sensitive lot. It's not in a nitrogen-sensitive area. The house will be connected to town water. So I think it's pretty straightforward.
So, thank you. Question on the workshop in the basement, on the other side, across the way from the bedroom?
Yep.
So could that be defined as a bedroom? Are those windows?
Those
does
are not
provide-
egress windows.
They're not egress windows,
And
okay,
it is completely below grade.
okay,
Oh, they're not.
okay. Well, you can't tell, well, I can't tell from the picture, anyway, okay. So that could not be considered a bedroom?
Correct.
Okay. That was my question. Any other questions?
I'm just clarifying, so there was a two-bedroom house and an accessory unit with a one-bedroom.
That was
In
what
the
was,
old-
what was
That was
previously
previously,
approved.
and now there's one
Just a single
one
building.
dwelling space with three bedrooms.
Yep.
And a workshop, which is not a bedroom.
Right.
Because they're,
In the basement.
right, because those windows don't
Egress.
provide egress.
Right. And you can make that a condition of your approval?
Yep.
I know it is hard to see because I didn't include the elevation views. So,
Well, you made the comment that the windows in the bedroom were egress windows. and
Right.
I was just going under the assumption that those weren't egress windows because she hadn't stated it, so, but it was a clarification on my
just
part.
making sure, yeah, just making sure. Okay, any other questions?
No.
Paige or Clay, no?
Nope.
No.
Okay, well, I think then we can move forward.
Okay, I recommend that the Board of Health approve the proposed plans as presented with the following conditions. No increase in habitable or occupiable square footage without Board of Health review. Any changes or modifications to the approved plans require Board of Health review. Three-bedroom deed restriction and use of IA technology using microfast 0.5 technology treatment to be recorded with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds. Board of Health conditions to be noted on the deed. Secondary treatment and monitoring under general use approval conditions per DEP regulations, including quarterly effluent sampling or 2 times a year for seasonal use for total nitrogen, BOD, TSS, nitrate, nitrogen, not to exceed 19 milligrams per liter. Applicant to confirm if property will be utilized annually or seasonally prior to issuance of septic installation permit. Operation and maintenance agreement to be submitted to the Eastham Health Department and Barnstable County Health Department, Health and Environment. Operation and maintenance contract required for the life of the system. Operator to report results to Barnstable County Health and Environment database or directly to the Eastham Health Department if not available. Use of underground blower vault to be utilized as proposed. Attention to made at time of install to maintain respectful distance from abutting property lines. Designer to verify proper operation of the system prior to the issuance of the certificate of compliance. Final inspections, startup inspections to be witnessed by the Eastham Health Department. Board of Health approval valid until September 26, 2025.
I'll second that. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
We're good, thank you.
Are you
I think
signing
we're
this
probably
one?
good, because it's the exact same design as what was approved before. So maybe we'll sign the
No,
floor plans.
Well, the site plan did change with the new footprint, the
That's
new
right.
building footprint. Do you need another,
Yeah, we do need
another plan?
Because Francine didn't bring her packet.
I didn't bring my packet or a pen.
She's a mess, Francie's a mess.
That's important.
Yes.
I know, my packet is
You are
useful.
the, you,
On the
it
other-
is.
I know.
You're the outlier, but you're also helpful.
Thank you. Was that a compliment? I forget.
That was a compliment. Helpful outlier.
Question, we've already recorded a 3-bedroom deed restriction in the notice of the IA. The only thing is it references the original plan. I mean, does that matter? I would record it again, so it's accurate. Okay, so you'll issue another plan. Okay.
Sorry, they have to file it again, though.
There you go.
Thank you. All right, and then the last thing we have is Village at NAUSET Green.
I gotta go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Hillary. Thank
Good
you,
to see you.
Hillary.
Good to see you guys too.
All right, Village at NAUSET Green, which is a request to increase the number of persons for a period of 6 months while they hopefully find some appropriate housing.
Yes, and I apologize that the dates were so wrong on my condition, or suggested conditions. It should be March 2025,
Correct.
not March
yeah.
2024. I
Yeah.
apologize. Yes, so my understanding is that the occupancy was correct when this couple moved in. They've since gotten custody of the father's 2 other children from another relationship, has now increased the occupancy of that unit. And the property manager, as she asked me, you know, what can we do about this? You have to go before the Board of Health, ask for a 6-month waiver to that, and
Seems reasonable to me.
there are 3-bedroom units within NAUSET Greenway that maybe the property manager could help get them into. I don't know, but
If they're available, but they,
Exactly.
it's giving them 6 months
Given,
to
yeah,
I
find
just don't know
something.
that there are any right now. That's why.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope
Got it.
6 months is enough time.
I think
Well,
that's reasonable.
Hopefully.
If
Yeah,
not,
I guess
they'll
they'll
have
come
to
back.
Back
They'll
again.
come back, yeah.
Yeah.
Things happen,
Yes,
and
yes.
we need to appreciate that.
Yes, exactly.
Paige or Clay, do you have any questions or comments on this one?
Not at all.
No.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll go through and recommend that we allow the increase of occupancy for Unit 321, Building Q, with the following conditions. Excuse me, a temporary rental certificate will be issued for Unit 321 stating the occupancy as 6 for the dates of September 26, 2024 through March 26, 2025. The temporary rental certificate will expire on March 26, 2025. No more than 6 occupants are to occupy Unit 321 in Building Q. The property manager is to communicate with the Eastham Health Department on a monthly basis between September 6, 2024 and February 26, 2025. An extension to the 6-month occupancy increase will not be granted without additional review by the Eastham Board of Health.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. You're good on that one. So now, we did not get minutes, right?
Right.
So no minutes to review. Any other business?
I think we just forgot. It was kind of a rush for us this month. I can't explain why. It just was.
Okay,
Kinda
we're all
sick
good.
child.
We're all
Things,
good.
And
things
everybody's
happen,
sick.
right?
Everybody's sick.
I was, look at me. I'm so prepared to, actually, I managed.
You did, you did.
You're here. We're all here.
Yes. So, all right, if there's nothing else, should we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
All right, we are adjourned.
I'm sorry.